The key word here is uncertainty, because we don't yet know how dangerous this new virus is and what will be the measures taken by governments. So it's very difficult for me to figure out what will be the economic and financial consequences of all of that. I would like to highlight, nevertheless, three factors which makes me quite optimistic about the future. The first one is that in the country in which we are the most involved, France, the rate of vaccinated people is very high, higher than 83% of the population. So I think that we are well prepared for facing this new difficulty. The second element is that growth remains strong at the end of this year, and there is no reason to think that unless there are very strict measures taken by governments, this growth could weaken in the months to come. For next year, all the forecasts are talking about roughly 4% for France, and I would stick to this evaluation at that stage. The third element is that, and maybe the most important one, is that in my view we have learned how to deal with this pandemic. The economy has adapted itself to this new condition, and corporates have remained very resilient in face of this crisis, and that makes me quite positive about what could happen. Indeed, that's not in itself a good news for sanitary reasons, for economic reasons, but we shouldn't be too pessimistic about the future.
Of course, all the talk last week before we heard of this new Omicron variant was all about inflation and whether it was transitory or persistent. Where do you stand on this conversation?
Well, you always have a very difficult question, and that's another one in which, again, the word uncertainty is very relevant. I would say that, in my view, inflation is picking up, and I doubt it will be something which will disappear soon. And I have the feeling that the consensus among policy market makers and in market participants is growing on the idea that inflation will remain in the future. The key question is whether central banks will be able to monitor the evolution of the situation and prevent disruptive movement. And I have full confidence in them, obviously.
Well, I was just going to ask you then, where should the central bank stand on the topic? There's a debate on how and when they should adjust their monetary policy. We know the ECB is more under pressure than the Fed, and increasingly diverging from the Fed on that front. There's this new uncertainty now, of course, on the radar. So do you think potentially postpone some potential action from the central banks on raising rates or cutting down some of their purchasing program?
I think that it's too early to answer this question. I think that they will have first to assess how serious the new sanitary situation is and figure out what could be the consequence on the real economy. But as I said at the start of this discussion, my feeling is that we will be able very soon to get reassured about the evolution. Obviously, if we take the adequate measures in order to master the evolution of the pandemic, I'm confident on that. So, I think it could change the calendar in which the progressive adaptation of economic and monetary policies would be put in place. I don't think it will change the direction.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.